Doing good. How has the backgrounds been? Did you use them?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I explained it to a couple people. Um, Maybe good. Hey, it must be really late where you're at. It's like 3 in the morning, no?
Yeah, it's 2:17.
Shit, shouldn't you be sleeping or?
I'm a bit of a night hawk. I take lots of naps and work during the night.
Oh, so my wife and daughter are in China now, so I'm home alone for the next 2 months.
I didn't know how to respond. I didn't know whether to congratulate you or to offer some consolation.
Well, I mean, it's unique because I'm here. We have three nannies. I have a driver, but Hong Kong is kind of COVID situation. So yeah, I could actually leave. I could go anywhere around the world right now. I have like no other than teaching
Time.
my class.
Is that your music in the background or me?
Yeah. I'm in my music room. Oh, you
Okay.
can't see, but
No,
I'm
that's
in my.
fine. I just was
Yeah, I
wondering.
can turn it. Let me pause it. Yeah,
So
there
you're a
you go.
free man. Three
Yeah,
nannies. Three
yeah,
nannies and a
yeah.
driver.
Home alone.
So what are you gonna do?
Well, I'm just well, it's my second day, so they just left Saturday morning. So I had Saturday, there, Sunday, I was just kind of loafing around, and then now today, I'm working on a bunch of stuff. I met with a patent lawyer in the morning, and then met with another venture person in the afternoon, online, of course. And then I'm getting my teaching lined up, and everything, and so there's a group that want me to go to Bali. There's a group that want me to go to Dubai. There's a guy that wants me to go to Switzerland, and then I have the older kids in the U.S. And then I'm actually quite comfortable here, and it's just interesting. Yeah, without the wife and daughter, there's like no obligations. There's normally I try to keep time open. Like my daughter likes, if I'm working too much, she it's like, what's more important, me or work?
Right.
My daughter. But now without her here and everything, I'm like, wow, I have
Time.
no obligations at all.
So what are you gonna do?
Other than,
Bali?
other than I teach from 6:30 to 7:30 on Thursdays and 2:30 to 5:30 on Fridays. But other than that, I'm like completely open.
Really?
Yeah. So the main reason I write, did you write up a statement of work?
I sent it to you twice.
Really? I didn't receive it.
I I mean both times it was kind of like I think sending your Gmail to
From Elijah, right? No,
yeah.
I haven't received anything unless it's in my junk mailbox. Hold on.
Because it was an
Computer.
invitation to a drive.
No, can you send me a link to it in this Zoom or something? Or
Yeah, I'm just gonna do that now.
what's up? Because I remember seeing something, but then I looked for it and I couldn't find it.
Statement of work. I mean,
No, it's not in my junk mail. Oh, that's strange.
statement of work is enters attached to document. I'll forward what I just
Just send it to my WhatsApp. That's probably easiest. But let me see. Is it on it? Where did you put it? In this text or in WhatsApp or?
it's in on my drive, and you can send it an email to have someone get access. But I think
No, just send me or transfer the file to me,
okay,
and then let me take a look at it.
okay, I'll just do that.
Yeah, I'll try to get it processed. How have you been?
I've been pretty good. I mean, I'm starting to I've done over 1,000 videos in the last year. And so now I'm compiling them in websites. You and I probably got about 10.
Hmm.
I started a show called Ginovision.
Oh, really?
You said you wanted one, so I thought I'd just go ahead and do
Oh,
it.
huh.
Have you ever thought of that? Like, I mean, considering what you're doing?
No, I'm trying to keep low profile right now. So, and then just lining things up. I'm not selling anything. So generally, the way you use media is if you're promoting something or if you're selling something, then you should, promote it. Otherwise, what's the point?
Right. Well, just to have a show, like, I mean, you could have a podcast, you could, there's just so many different, like, it's more for, I think it's more just to track your life in a sense. Like, you're having all these interesting conversations, and it doesn't take much just to sort of like copy it, pop it into a website, from YouTube.
Well, I am not so interested in, it's like, I don't know, when from my perspective, it's like, I know enough people. It's like, not like I need to know more people or anything. So,
no, but I mean, it's not that, it's just because of your life work is so large. I think there should be, like, you could have an audience tracking it, and that audience will be.
No, but towards what end?
Towards support, towards like spreading the word, towards filling it in a sense.
But that's just like more people.
Well, isn't that like within the Metatron project? Don't you want more people in there, kind of thing?
Not yet. It has to have, it's really building the culture, building the sustainable stuff, and then providing kind of the framework stuff, right?
Right.
And so, generally speaking, the more people that know you, the more time they need or would like, which then kind of creates more fragmentation and everything.
True. I mean, yeah,
So,
you're in a different world than me, because I have so much time and I don't connect with many people.
oh, yeah,
For the same reason.
No, I have, like, even just today, I have my friend Nils is in Portugal right now. I'm going to line him up with some people to meet, and there are more people and projects than I have time. So
Right. So your big thing is, are you going to go?
And I have a resource, right? So, I can literally, if I wanted to hop on a plane tomorrow, there's really nothing preventing me from doing that.
You should do it. What about the what about the Dubai thing?
Yeah, the Dubai thing is, my friend Raghava is there. He just sold 3 paintings for like 300,000 US each. And then the David Verdessi's there. We're planning, to run some workshops and everything this summer. So having FaceTime with him would be helpful. And then that Shakul guy is there as well too. The guy that bought this island and is buying like 4 other places.
Yeah.
So that's that project. If I went to Dubai, right now, Ryan's in Bali. And so he just tried to convince me to go over there earlier today. And then my friend, Paul, who's sitting on like $300 million, he wants me to go to Switzerland so we can figure out what we're going to do together.
Why don't you go to all of them?
Yeah. I mean, that's
like a good road trip.
Yeah, and then I have my kids, the older kids in the US, and it's spring break. So in fact, before I called, I'm trying to line up. My older son's going to be in Boston with his a cappella group. So I'm trying to find a place for him to stay. And my friend John Werner, I was going to reach out to him. He does a TEDx Beacon Street. It's one of the bigger TEDx's. And so he's in Boston.
2 weeks in each.
And then the Fionn, those 2 people on that Sunshine Coast. Did you talk to that woman? The one that does the coaching?
I did send her a message. I don't think we got past the point of that.
Yeah.
Who are the people on the Sunshine Coast?
Yeah, those are like another consciousness group.
No, but who? What's the name? Name of the people?
Scott, what's his name? Scott and Paul. Hold on.
Because I live there, eh? It's a pretty small place.
So Scott, hold on.
Gorgeous places.
Yeah. No, they want me to go there to do a retreat too. Maybe they want me to speak at an event in Baja. Scott Nelson. Oh no, and Nicholas Perrin. Perrin and Scott Nelson.
I don't know.
Scott Nelson is like a crypto guy that did well. And then Nicholas has some book that he's trying to turn into IPs and everything, and turn into like comic books, a film and everything, like a famous book.
How'd they get why are they talking with you?
My friend Fion introduced them to me, and then I tapped Nick pretty hard. And then the other big thing, the meeting with the lawyer, is that I actually walked him through. He totally gets my work, which is really exciting. And so we're filing patents. And if everything goes well, that would be like $1 billion company. And so we're starting patents. Yeah.
What works at?
I can't really talk too much about it, but it's based upon my research.
Okay.
So lots of stuff going on.
I guess you got some decisions to make. How do you decide? Why don't you do some readings? Do you use the I Ching?
Do some what?
Readings. You ever use the I Ching to decide what you're going to do?
No, I usually just sit in stillness and then things just show up.
When you said you were doing stuff with Nick, was that your conversational kung fu?
Well, yeah, just walking him through kind of presence, thought, and everything. I kind of tapped another woman, this Amelia, who David Wilcock introduced me to. And so he does sessions with her once a week, and she's not too grounded. So I kind of brought her to presence, and, you know, she's been writing me almost every day now, just how the experience changed her life.
Hey, I think I asked you that question and you didn't answer in terms of the Zipio, that place where people walk around and go to different places and then their videos come together, right? You said you've been working with them for a couple of years and you know the founder?
The which one? Sorry?
Zipio or something. It's the video. You go into a world and then you walk around as an avatar. And when you go to the same place, you share video screens.
The Seeker's World stuff, or what do you?
The actual platform. I think, isn't it Zipio?
Topias.
Yeah.
Yeah. Topia. Yeah. Yeah. What about them?
I was thinking, what happens if we organize worlds by cognitive maps? And so for all those things that you sent me, there could have an area where you're moving.
Yeah. Well, let's, because I have right now an artist, that can build these kind of things. Her name is Rita. Maybe I'll introduce you to her as well too.
Okay.
Right now, what the thing I'm trying to do right now is take the basic framework stuff, and then the projects related to them, like Antarabov and the Metatron project and everything. And I want to put a website together to usually when I talk to people, it's like, who's your target audience and everything. And so what state level of consciousness are you kind of trying to target? Is it the masses, people that have been through awakening, entrepreneur, or the outliers, people that have had awakening, or the masses? Those are generally the three types of people. And then trying to fit them in so that they can kind of interoperate and collaborate.
Right.
So I'm trying to put a website together. That's one of my objectives for this week. And so I have Rita, she's been working on some stuff and putting a wireframe together. But then I want to kind of explain the framework and then hook it in to this project is for this project is for this, and just show how they all fit in. And then if you're like running some kind of training program or you're mentoring entrepreneurs or something, we know where to slot you in. And so even that woman I introduced you to, I talked to her very briefly, and she's like, oh yeah, I do the entrepreneurship as a spiritual path. I help people realize their potential and everything. And it's like, hey, and then she's looking for more clients and everything. And I just thought, and then she helps people, give them the discipline to follow through and everything. And I was like, hey, you're in Vancouver, talk to Elijah. Maybe you can help him with, getting, all of your stuff, onto market and everything. And she's right nearby and everything. And I kind of threw my stuff at her. She's like, oh yeah. I was like, yes, I have the theoretic framework around all this. And then she's just intuitive and she just does things with her own paradigm. But the point behind this is that once you have a framework, you know where to slot her in. She's okay. She works with entrepreneurs, the outliers, and she's got this modality. Okay, got it. So I know, and if you have other people like that, you can kind of clump them all together and then give them the framework for them to understand, and then provide a collective to offer services.
Well, I mean, I use Weebly. I don't like, what do you, you probably need a website builder that is simple, right? That you can and you just want some help to get that put together kind of thing.
Yeah, and I've got people like Rita, who I'll introduce you to. In fact, let me see if she's around.
But she's more from the art point of view, right? I mean, for the structure of your page.
Yeah.
I mean, I think.
But she can help with graphics and everything. And so part of what I did was I took all the talk slides I have, I gave them to her, because I don't want to use other people's copyrighted images and everything. So I just had her just redo all the images. So she just redid all the images from scratch.
Okay.
Yeah. And
well, but she, like, I mean, I guess like my forte is would be the website structuring.
Yeah.
Of just the page layout, right?
Yeah. We can talk about that. And she can help with the implementation, the execution, the graphics and everything.
Yeah. Because we're essentially doing the same thing. I mean, we're, at least, like, I'm trying to compile 25 years of work into something that actually is like a package, and it seems so are you. But
then for me, I have the main thing I'm trying to get at right now, and I had a long conversation. So the patent lawyer, I shouldn't really say too much, but I kind of walked him through stuff like, it turns out he's Polish. So we talked about Ukraine and everything as well. And it turns out he has family like 15 miles from the Ukrainian border on the Polish side, and they've been trying to help the refugee situation. Wow. But, there's a difference when I talk about Ukraine and everything. That's true, but that's kind of in this mental realm versus it seems like you're wearing a pair of glasses and a hoodie right now. And so if I say you're wearing a pair of glasses and a hoodie, there's no conflict there. And so
I have to go through this one. I know.
Yeah, I know. But it's important to have that as a basis when you get people together. And so how are we using language? What are we working towards? And so having a framework is important, and then having the theoretical thing so that everyone can kind of have a common vernacular. And so that's a very important piece of all of this. And so just getting that and then blasting it out to everyone so that we can kind of look at providing a common ground to collaborate. Now, where you and I were at, which is very interesting. So I could use help with that. And so I'm happy to talk to you and Rita, and then we can put it into the statement of work, and I can actually pay you for this kind of thing. Okay. That's one side of things. But then the other thing, which was quite interesting, was when we had Graham together as well, too, the idea of setting up like a Discord and then doing it almost like a weekly show, and then each week bringing another person in. Right. That could be like an easy thing that we set up right now, too.
Right. Yeah. No, that's real simple. But
the idea would be to write out, almost design it as a game or something, and then we could work out a sustainable revenue model for this, like a DAO or something like that, right? And so we could create the content, and it could almost be one of those things where, you start out and then there's like an admission that gets higher and higher or something like this. We have to figure this out. But then it's almost like you get access to maybe the week before you and the week after or something, unless you become a member or something like that, that then gives you the whole history. So almost like life, like right now, I'm the 1960s to now, that's the period of space and time reality that I have access to. And then, the more, I could study the history of earlier. And so if we did something where there's like a progression and a building of a community, it started somewhere. And then even you and I, because they're recorded and you've got the Ginovision show already, is we have, kind of almost like the big bang point, if you will. And then, so people can see the part of history that they're around, but if they wanted to trace the lineage and where did this all come from, we have it all documented, and they could then partake in experience and research the mythology around how and why things came to be, and get to know each person within the context of this universe that we're creating together. And so if we start with 2 people and then gradually build it to like 144 or what have you, right, then you have like a rich history of all that, and you know which person came in. Oh, this person brought in this one. Oh, let me see that one now. Oh, this person brought. Oh, let me see that one. And then you can almost trace back how you came to be within this organization and everything. And then you can also see where it goes as well too.
I like it. I love it.
Right? I'm just riffing off of you based upon our last conversation.
Yeah. And I would say that
it seems like that's where we were headed. You know,
Yeah.
you had this idea of let's do this regular show. Let's create a Discord and a DAO. Let's give it a name. And it doesn't take too much to do.
Just Williams participate. Like what we need is the participation weekly, I guess. And that's sometimes difficult in terms of a schedule with people that are so sort of spontaneous.
Well, but then with the notion of a Discord server or something like that, then you could have it more organic and everything. And, you know, people that become members can also be part of it and everything. And so it has that serendipitous element to it as well, too.
True. And I think that
and then part of it too, right now as well, like right now, I apologize. I didn't get your thing, but, you know, you sent it twice. So you say, you know, from my perspective, at least. And so again, it's one of those things where, you know, I'm not lying to you, but I remember seeing something.
Check
your
email. I sent it. I just sent it to you. So the one with PHO, you know, whatever that sort of email is.
Fusakoi. Yeah.
And you know what I'll do? I'll
oh yeah, here it is. Captain Sweep. It's under Captain Sweep.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got it.
I'm gonna invite William, and maybe he's up. What time is it over there?
It's about 6:30 p.m.
Oh, really? Okay, I'm gonna see if he's about. That's generally how we do things, isn't it? And who was that person who joined us? Because he seemed like a very interesting person.
Who did I have join us last time?
No, he was from William's point of view. What was his name? Because William had mentioned him a few times. And remember in the bar, you guys knew each other. Scottish guy, I think. Remember the last call when we were with William? And
David Sharp.
David Sharp, is that his name?
I think so. Well, I hooked him up with David Sharp.
No, I don't think so. I think he's an old friend of William's. I think he's very close. He's working closely with William. I think he was connected to Chris.
Darius.
Yeah, he'd be a good four. He looked like a good four. So yeah, I mean, I'd be down to that.
But the idea would be to write it up and come up with a game plan.
Okay. I mean, okay. I mean, to me, like, if it was building a shared knowledge community, I'd be very into that because that's what we got to figure out.
Well, I mean, it would be the next version of and making it sustainable. Next version of and sustainable thing of what Denise tried to do with the Awakened Dream, whatever.
Maybe she's the next. Maybe she's the next person in.
Well, it could be, but part of this is then figuring out the methodology for bringing them in, because I think the next person was going to be this guy in Connecticut or something like that had this whole play thing or something.
Oh, like right. Yeah, that's right, Gregory, because it was originally his idea. He wants to build his 4D free space by having a game where you have 144 moves, and I was the first move. So that could be kind of linked into if my move was bringing you guys in. It was very interesting just to think about it. You know, if you're the first move in a game.
No, but the idea was to kind of set up design the container,
right,
and then make it sustainable.
Right.
So with like membership due, or we get to a certain point and then, you know, beyond this point, you know, this is the core, the core 8 or the core 5 or the core 12. And then beyond this, there will be this tier. And then beyond this, there will be this tier. But then, designing the motivation, the incentive, and all this other stuff.
I had I don't know if I can see this, because I made this when, I'll take my thing off. Because I had quite a structure.
Oh, wow.
So basically it's a 144 board.
Uh-huh.
With like a spiral.
Yeah.
Of,
yeah.
Going like that.
Yeah.
Each, as you added a person.
Yeah.
You sort of keep going, and then you got this structure, which actually has a lot of different structures of 12 by 12.
Yeah. Yep. And it's like a bingo. So you can have different people around diagonals and everything.
And then people get a place, and then this becomes the structure for the shared knowledge community. And then there's other ways of making teams, and we're looking, let's say for 12 originators and 12, like there's an actual, I guess that would be the container that I'd write up or something, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be fun. I want to do something fun. I mean,
well, no, but I thought that's what we were talking about last time.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just reminding you of our conversation from last time.
Well, that's good. I mean, that shows interest.
Well, I mean, that's where I thought, and for me, it's like, well,
if
you're not sleeping.
I mean, you have so many projects, and you've got so many opportunities, for you to be that strong in that regard, that shows that you have a lot of interest. That's good.
Well, I know what I'm doing. And part of this right now for you is how do we get something so that you're sustainable financially, right? And so it's understanding the underlying motivations of stuff. And so even with that, I just talked to, on Sunday, which was, I think yesterday, I talked to Nova. I think I'm seeing him again Tuesday, but he wants me to mentor him,
Oh, really?
He wants to join Mystagogical for his game project. We talked, and he's like fragmented. He's got all these different things that he's doing. You could say I've got all these different things that I'm doing, but I'm living in a house. I have 3 nannies, a driver. Life is good. I've got enough resource. If I wanted to go to Switzerland tomorrow, I can, and comfortably and everything. But and so different place. But for him, why are you so fragmented? If you really want to get something done, why don't you just focus on getting the thing done? And I reminded him of when, he was making his game, he was just all in on this, just waking up, focusing on that one thing nonstop. So how do we get you back into that and then into kind of the metaphysics of everything?
Well, I mean, from my point of view, we were getting progress on chat stream. We were close. And then, then the focus shifted.
All very interesting. And then even when you first met me, you were like, hey, why don't you buy this guy in New Zealand a computer? I was like, who is this guy and everything? And now, actually I sent him like $1,000 just of my own, just for him to get an iPhone and a headset, So it's interesting how things play out in the end, huh?
Well, I think when I point in certain directions, I'm pointing the right way.
Well,
I mean, I thought about it just in terms of laptop.
But they have to land, right? And so part of it is, how do you get them to land?
Well, I've been thinking, just about, because from what I understand about you, is to go from that, let's say, to help people into sustainability, right? To help someone like me or Nova or William or into the place where we've got the revenue generated.
Yeah.
First step of the laptop, like there's certain steps that you have
from your perspective.
From my perspective, but just I think I have a good idea of coming from the bottom up rather from the middle or top down, because a lot of people got a lot of resources. They don't realize what it's like when you're on the bottom rung. Like it's,
well, arguably I started on the bottom rung, right? And so, part of it is understanding that, but then having the discipline and all of this other stuff and
within this infrastructure, right? With school, where I'm just stating that I believe that because of what I've created under the conditions I have and what I've gone through, that I have a pretty good assessment of what it takes to get out of it. And at the start is you need a laptop. I mean, the basic problem for a lot of people, if you don't have the laptop, you don't have access to all the other tools, and you need the tools to do whatever your work's going to be. So I'm just saying that, like, for a program to help people get out of their, poverty.
Yeah, you could say that, but again, a lot of people think the way you solve homelessness is just by giving them a home. But even if you have a home, a house doesn't make a home, right? And so a lot of it is their own psychology. And no matter what it's the whole rescuer, victim, persecutor thing. You're going to play the dominant role of that, no matter what your context is.
True, but essentially within the processes that you want to create to assist people who've gone through their awakening, and then to get them sustainable, to me, there needs to be a real process to take them through that actually helps them at each stage, right? Because you're right, if somebody's homeless and they're PTSD and they're psycho, in home, they're still going to be psycho. They need healing. They need support.
Yeah. Like that guy that you're trying to support.
Well, yeah, I mean, exactly. And so I'm just saying, like, to build the process, like, I wanted to get you together with Clint, because Clint's really got a good healing, like a metaphysical healing program that dovetails into exactly what you want to do. And to me, he would be like the BC shaman who's helping people through. And then I've got another woman who's tying into the medical.
Wait. Wonderful. Put them in order, but create the container, and we can bring them in one at a time into the program.
Okay.
Right. And I've got a whole bunch of people once we know what we're trying to do with the group. Right. And the other guy I think I pulled in was Narek.
Right. Yeah. I already had known him. Yeah. I mean, no, but what I was getting to was I actually wanted to have a talk with Clint, me, you, and her.
But let's figure out, maybe that's the box, but where is this, and it's one of those things where the first couple of people are going to be very crucial because they set the tone.
Exactly.
And so getting the first couple right, but then having said that, it's and then figuring out the process of it, of kind of this intention and emergence kind of way. And so gamifying that, where, with the whole Narek and Darius thing, it's what showed up, right? And so, and then when we try to call certain people are there, certain people aren't. So then even designing the rules where maybe we both go into state, we think of a person, and then we have like 5 hours or 12 hours to get them a yes or no. And so there's a timed thing. And so whatever we design, we should keep the universe as part of it. And so it's not a done deal until, something has to be activated with some kind of intention with the bigger forces involved.
Okay. Well,
right. Yeah. So that way, whether it was supposed to happen or not, relate to us and our relationship with this. And so it's really kind of bringing in.
I like the idea of, okay, because we're each bringing in our major projects and our major gifts, and William put me and you in the kitchen. So to me, we're like two cooks in the kitchen trying to figure out how to get other people into the tavern. And so
but the issue right now too, I'm looking at, and what we're looking at is how do we create something that's sustainable? That's where we're at with it, is how do you take, and then to do that, I've got some tools and everything. And I was just sharing with you that Nova wants me to be involved in kind of mentoring him through with the game project. Right. And we're just saying, his issue is just fragmentation, and how do we kind of go all in on the one thing? And I have process for that, which is what I'm trying to do with you right now, but I'm just giving you more information for you to design this container.
Okay.
Right. And then I'm completely open. You want to get more people here. Great. But where are we going with this? What's your vision of where we're going with this? And then usually for someone like that, for you or for you and me, would be to just go deep into state and then see what calls us and what's the vision of this.
Okay.
right? And in, whatever deep state, whatever you do, for me, it's being in the shower or jacuzzi and then just seeing what shows up, right? And ideally, you live every moment from the state.
Yeah.
And so with that, and the piece that I'm trying to do is provide the grounding, but if, as long as I've known you so far, you're always on the verge of running out of cash. As long as I've known Graham, always on the verge and going through the trials and tribulations and, the death of Chris and all this stuff and, seeing what shows up with Darius. And now they're trying to build this place in Scotland. And so having too many high flyers that are off in different directions, need I remind you of Lumi?
Who?
Luis Miguel? Lumi?
Lumi?
Yeah.
Lumi? Lumi?
Lumi, Lumi, Alvaro's old business partner. No, he's he was manic before. I should reach out to him, see how he's doing. Yeah, let me do that now.
What do you think of this?
Oops. Yeah, nice.
So I've been doing some work.
Yeah, no, we've got wait. For this, we've got we've got an acronym. It's a CHAMP. No, this is the 5 stages of development. CHAMP. Consensus reality, honing, awakening, mystical path, and then human potential.
Okay.
Potential.
Give those,
CHAMP.
okay, give those to me again.
CHAMP.
PH.
C. So C is consensus reality.
Okay.
H is honing, the focusing, honing. That's stage 2. Stage 3 is awakening. Stage 4 is the mystical path. Stage 5 is potential, human potential. So it spells CHAMP.
Why didn't you tell me that before? I was just taking notes from what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Okay, consensus reality, honing, awakening, mystical path, and potential.
Yeah, human potential. Yeah, CHAMP.
Because I was thinking you could have these as areas within that
Yeah,
platform.
yeah.
You have a facilitator at each one, and then people go to each one for some exercise. And that could be a way to teach the model.
Well, there's the conceptual understanding of it, but then knowing where people are at,
True, but I mean, there'd be different types of instructions, right? This would just to give someone an idea of the model, have them go through a process, have 5 facilitators, each one doing a different thing, have an event where people come in for 2 hours and spend maybe 20 minutes in each one, and then they move around.
Part of the issue with that is that they don't, it's understanding it, there's a conceptual understanding of it, but better, more relevant is kind of the experiential one. And for people, because it's meeting people where they're at. And then anything beyond where they're at, they're not really going to get it.
Okay, so then you'd have 5 worlds, and then each one is one of these. And then as soon as they go from one and pass the test or something, then they go
Yeah.
to
Yeah. Something like that. And then you have different skills. So again, the way that you use language and everything is going to be different.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. And so you just make 5 of them and then create a whole.
So for me and you, we can talk about a lot of ideas, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to move you to the honing of, hey, you've got all of the chart already, you've got the boxes and everything. And I'm just bringing you back. Last time, this is wonderful. You're helping me out. We've got the statement of work. I'll go through it and everything. But last time was like, let's set up a Discord server. And then let's start with maybe you, me, and Stuart. We have to decide who we want in here. And we have to kind of design the rules for this and then turn this into a show as well, too, which is what you were talking about as well. And turning this into an experiment. And I don't mind allocating time. And the idea is that the earlier people, there's a whole history, we're in the mythology of it. So Frodo knows what happened to Bilbo only by story, but Bilbo, or Gandalf knows the whole story, right? Gandalf was there with Bilbo, and he was there with Frodo as well too. There was a period where he disappeared when he went from Gandalf the Grey to Gandalf the White, after fighting the Balrog. But and so the earlier you are in, the more richer the mythology in terms of understanding the characters and where they came in and the narrative.
Right.
And what we're talking about too is allowing the universe to have a play in this too. And all of that, I'm just working with you in a stage 2 kind of way. Oh yeah, this is nice. Yeah, beautiful.
And so then each one of those I divided. Wait a sec, this is not the right. So when you're doing your teaching, each one becomes like a section header.
Yeah.
So
one other comment is that if you can design them to loop better, so that it's like one continuous thing versus the kind of the stop frame and then the reset. So figuring out your loop point.
Okay, I think, it's based on a small reset. I could extend it to a minute and then you would.
Or no, just find a good loop point. Just like in music, you want to make sure that the waveform matches, to not have a pop kind of. And so you can see where the images are very similar, or you get them to morph from one to the other. And so there's a whole transition. But if I splice it right, it seems like an endless loop, versus a play and then reset.
Okay, I'll see how to do that. I've never done that with the triple.
Well, like right now, the plant thing right now, it's going. Oh, now it just reset. And
Right.
So, but if you had something almost like, I'll send you a video. I'll send you a link to a video that my friend did, which is kind of fractal. Oh, it's on my other computer. But, these Mandelbrot things where, you keep going into it and it keeps changing, but it's a smooth transition.
Right. Yeah, I'll see. I'm not sure.
Or what you do is you fade into black. And then once you're faded to black or something like that, then it's easy to loop.
Okay.
But yeah, wonderful.
Because, and I mean, if we're going also the synchronicity, what's occurring, because like when there's also, I sent you another video, the Weave, WEVE.
Yeah.
I've already contacted them, and
My friend went through it too. It's fairly expensive. So
their business model seems way off. Like,
yeah, I didn't try it, but I had Tesfa go through it. Tesfa tried it out. They have like some gamified way of doing things online and stuff.
Yeah. So I'm hopefully going to talk to their CTO next week. I've talked to a salesperson. I shared a lot of working on.
It's pretty expensive.
Well, no, what I'm asking for is to be a tester, to look at doing educational curriculum, which they're not doing. They're just focusing on games. And that, I think those gains linked into educational curriculum. So if we could maybe link it into maybe these 5 things you have and come up with a better, I said, I want to do unlimited for free. Like that's, to test it out, figure it out and resell it. I'd rather resell it and be on the sales side of it and have access to, as much as we want. So I think the CTO, because I think Ramayan, I don't know if I told you about Ramayan. He is the one who's got, I sent you this stuff. He's got Veeam and he's working on a sort of a thing to turn videos into NFTs using something called Voltage. So he's quite sophisticated with what he's doing. And I've known him for over 12 years. He knows the inflow matrix better than anyone, kind of. He knows he knows one of the founders of that. So as you know, like if you know the inside people, you can hopefully play with them.
Yeah. Well, it's structuring a win-win. But again, my whole point behind this in terms of using language with you is to move towards turning it into something that can be actionable and objective.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely stopped talking story with you. I've learned not to bring anything up. And I think I'm through the wow. So I'm willing to enter into collaborative discussion.
Yeah. And all I'm doing with the document and everything is to move the ball forward.
Yeah.
And then even with the idea that you had before, just move it forward.
Well, I did. I guess you were expecting me to make some action upon that, and I didn't. I guess I just didn't.
No, I mean, it was just an idea at that point, and
from what you're saying, it sounds like it's.
No, all I'm doing is I'm using the language to remind you and say, hey, how would we design this? And then part of it is like, make sure we keep it open so that the universe has a say in it as well too. But part of this is codified in the game rules or the container. But part of it is a meditation of what do we want out of this? What's the objective of this? Learning the lesson from Laciel, just some stupid exercise to design a future city, probably isn't going to cut it, but it should probably do something where we take people where they're at and understand where they're at. And so maybe they come in, and I mentioned this before too, in a Wizard of Oz kind of way, is they have to bring some intention to it or something like that. And so can we have something like the communication thing land, or this thing, a new enterprise? So this is what I would like, and this is, I'm coming into this with the objective of using this as a context for exploration. And so if each person comes in, and part of this is they have a statement, almost like can I share screen? Oh, can you turn?
Yeah, just give me a second.
Is this your Zoom or my Zoom? It's your Zoom.
Yeah, you can go.
So right now, if you look right now here in my class one, let's see, this is the course one. So like each of the students right now have a thread. So why are they here? What would they like to do? So each one of them have written why they're here. So each one has written their reason, what they would like out of the class, so to, in a sense.
Okay.
And then here they've created teams, and then each team now also has a thread where different people can provide comments, and we can even look at their presentations. And if you click on this, you can see their presentation and everything too. And so all their presentations are in here as well too.
Okay.
So here's this group's presentation. Here's his talk, their talk. And so each one of these also has a whole description of their project and everything. And so within this, I can see who the team members are. And then if I go to the team section, I could see, what their interest is. And then I can see what they're working on. So if each person comes in with the description of themselves and then project, and then maybe the different people can group into teams and then work on projects together. This is something more concrete and tangible, and then other people can see it and then also provide feedback. Isn't this neat?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
yeah.
then if, as we add more people, then we could see all these interests and people, we could do as a DAO. So, as we get to a certain level, then we start voting on people. So people maybe submit, and then there's a voting, and then maybe some, and then they get added in or something like this, right? And so it's figuring out, designing the mechanics for it all. But I'm just showing you how a platform like this can support this. So we have that, and then we can do our conversations, live conversations in places like this. So we can have like a Zoom call, like a group Zoom call or something like this here. But then we can also have discussion threads. We can see who's in, and we can talk about, and we can share knowledge and different, here's books, book club, general. So the general conversation of stuff. And so we have a whole mechanism here for people that share information and resources. Yeah. And so part of this is kind of designing this, but we could start this like right away. I mean, it takes like 10 minutes to put something like that together.
Yeah.
So it's, and again, and then figuring out the sustainable model. So maybe the first 30 or free, and then free. And then, there's a, I don't know, we get manifestors, then generator, whatever, but the idea is to get, some core, and then finding the right people that can contribute in terms of from an ideas perspective, or with the execution side, or, what do they bring to the table? What do we need on the table that we don't have already? And then working our way towards filling this out in the spiral way. And then they each get a number. And then that number is tied to an NFT. And then the earlier the number you have, the more valuable you are, or the earlier you were, or, the richer the history. But then with that comes responsibility from, with great power comes great responsibility, right? And then helping to steward the new people that come in, figuring out the onboarding process. And also running them through, as part of it, they run through the workshop of understanding the 5 levels, how we use language and everything. That should be part of the onboarding process. Or there's a first stage of the onboarding, and then once you get to a certain level, or you get a number of votes, then we can almost do this as almost like a fraternity, thumbs up or thumbs down kind of vote. Right. And so once you get to that, you get to certain levels. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Almost like Burning Man has its way of engineering the culture. But right now, the way I'm describing it to you is that the onboarding process also gives them tools and skills to be more effective in communicating, understanding the lore, and knowing their role within the ant colony.
I guess this was for the shared knowledge community of having like tribe, ally, and member, and having a step process to go from outside to inside. And then you got product teams and project teams on the inside. And then that's the internal infrastructure. So this map would be describing what you're talking about. And then
but the idea is to gamify it.
Yeah. And so each one of these steps will then be a sort of game.
There's some trial or something that you have to.
Yeah.
And each one is a mini hero's journey.
Yeah. And I think combining those two platforms and seeing how to combine them together.
And all I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to plant some seeds in your brain for you to come up with it, right? And then this will be our project that we do together.
Okay. And it's like the big container is the shared knowledge community, at least for me, and Inflow Matrix is the operating system for it. And then the new paradigm toolkit are tools that are used. And so, you know, I have a toolkit, all your stuff can fit in the new paradigm toolkit if you want. And my stuff can fit in yours if you want. Like, it's just finding the way to collaborate, really, right?
No, and I feel what I have, I'm not so concerned about the implementation. I have the theoretic framework. So right now, I'm talking to you. I'm sitting in my music room. I'm eating dinner, and it's good to be alive. And there's no way you can argue me out of that. And anything that we try to do together will either happen or it won't. And you can, I'm sharing with you what I've done in the discords of how we can have maybe different sanctums. And so, you know, I've got all 50 students in one group, but this could be core A, you know, core B, core C, and then we could just add their names into the core, into the layer of the spiral that they came in on. All right. And then in that thread, we can include their video. They can write a statement of who they are, why they're here, etc. And then each person can leave a comment. And then what we can do is we can have a token. So each person that leaves a comment gets a token. And so we can gamify it and we can kind of monetize it in this way as well too. So your participation in the Discord leads to like a token gamified way too.
Does Discord have stats on stuff like that you can track?
You can build bots around it. And then what I can also do is I can tag certain things, and then certain areas may only be accessible by people with certain tags.
Okay.
Wouldn't this be fun? I mean, designing something like this is your strength.
Yeah. I mean, essentially all my stuff is linked to it. So you're just pushing me to actually do it.
Exactly. It's just my role.
Get in the kitchen, do it. Chop the onions. So have you been using the backgrounds in different Zoom contexts at all?
Yeah, I've been showing it. And that's where I wanted to maybe get you to give a talk to our students at some point. Either a Thursday, my classes are Thursday 6:30 to 7:30, or Friday from 2:30 to 5:30 Hong Kong time, PM.
Thursday 6:30 to 7:30 and Friday when?
At 2:30 to 5:30. The Thursday class is all of our master's students. And then the Friday class is a subset of our master's students and all the bachelors of interactive media, interaction design. And the class is a class on entrepreneurship. And so the Discord, let me send you the Discord server, this one, if I haven't already.
It's like, what happens if you had, like, I don't know if you do this, but if you have, let's say 30 students in a Zoom, and each student had a background with a title with their primary project.
Yeah, we could make them make one.
So
but yeah, hold on. Let me send you this.
How do people like the backgrounds?
Yeah, hold on. They could see the utility of it. So that's the Discord. And then, hold on. Let me see if I can get Rita in here. So this is a whole separate thing, but let me just send her this link. She just responded. Hey, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go pee real quick. Give me 2 seconds.
And what about this help for your website?
Yeah, Rita is going to join. Oh, she's here right now.
Oh, good.
Rita? Hi.
Hi. Hi.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi. Rita, this is Elijah. He's in Vancouver. It's like 4 in the morning where he's at right now, 3 or 4 in the morning.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Rita is hired as an RA through the end of June. So she's been working on the 5 stages diagram and, you know, the project's overview document.
Okay.
And then right now she has some rough designs of how to communicate this on a website.
Okay.
And so she can share with you what she's put together, and then I'll hook the two of you guys up. And so, Rita, Elijah has a very clear indication and understanding of what we're trying to do, I think. And I've been talking to him and everything. And then he's also a visual person. He's designed these backgrounds. In fact, he's been taking, hey, show her the 5 stages background. And so what he's been doing for fun is he's been creating backgrounds that provide context. You know, so Rita, if we were meeting on campus or if we were meeting in a park, it would feel very different. So what he's been doing is he's been creating different backgrounds that then provide a context for having conversations and communicating. And so the one that he has right now there, he's taken, although the words are slightly off, he's taken the 5 stages and he's created kind of a background around it so people can talk about it, they can point to different things, and you can have each one of those stages could be its own different background. So there's like a iconograph language as people go through the information to help sync it in. So color-wise and all of this other stuff. So he's very much a visual design and information design person as well too. And so he knows what I'm trying to do in terms of the website and in enlisting people. And so I'd like him to maybe talk to you as well too. So if you could send him, so just to let you know, Elijah, so Rita, there's a couple things. There's one, which is the overview thing, the project's overview thing that I'm trying to communicate. And so there'll be a visual thing. And this is that diagram. Let me just pull it up real quick. To explain this.
6 a.m., March 8, 1965.
To explain this.
Right.
Right? And so we're going to put this together as a nice diagram and explain roughly what all these different pieces are. And then right now, for example, Art Transcend has morphed a bit. And, I have a bit of an update for this, but the idea is this Fusukoi project and for Antarabov right now, for the purple and blue ones, what we're doing, at least for Antarabov and for the Project Fusukoi, each one of those sites are going to include a web form. And so for Antarabov, part of it is people that have been through spiritual emergency and people that are going through spiritual emergency. But we're going to direct them to the Discord server for the Metatron project. That's what we're doing for Antarabov right now in relation to the Metatron project. And for Project Fusukoi, there's also going to be some forms that we're creating 2 databases. One of people that have had awakening, that have unique experiences, and another one of researchers that have a research lab that are doing research in the area. And so we're trying to collect that information, and we're using the website to collect all of this kind of information.
Okay, so
And
you
then
mean,
and what
sorry.
we're going to do too, we're going to illustrate, and so there are going to be links to all of these different projects as well. So right now, the 2 websites I've got Rita thinking about. One is the overview one of explaining the project's overview document. And then the second one is the Project Fusukoi one, which is the white paper. And the white paper one is going to have a form that's going to collect people with unique abilities, and then also a form for researchers that are in this area. Now, there's another guy, Ryan Fix. Let me see if he's here. Hold on. Ryan is redoing the Antarabob website. Okay, and then the Antarabob website right now is changed a little bit. Just to explain the changes, the Antarabob website is now there is the Antarabob website, but we did all of this pre-Discord. And so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna point them to Metatron. And so people that have had awakening, we're bringing them into Metatron project. People that are going through spiritual emergency, we're gonna send them to the Antarabob Discord, which is a separate one. And then we're going to set something else up for people, friends and family of people going through spiritual emergency. And so imagine right now for you, Elijah, you were talking to me because of your friend. What was his name again?
Jordan.
Jordan, right? And so but you're a little bit different in that you've been through some processes before. But imagine like Jordan's girlfriend or family that maybe have never knew anything about consciousness or anything. Right. They need like a support group that explains to them, hey, no, he's okay. I know you love him and everything. He's just going through an existential crisis right now, right? Most people would say he was going through like a nervous breakdown or something like that. Right? But then how do you hold space for someone? And so arguing with them, making them feel guilty, yelling at them when they're in that state is not going to help the situation. Arguing with them is not going to help the situation. Right? And so generally speaking, for Antarabob, there's people that have been through awakening. There's researchers, there's friends and family to support them, and then people going through emergency. Those are the 4 types of people for Antarabob. And then Metatron right now is just a collection of people that have been through so it's the researchers and the people that have been through spiritual emergency. Now, right now, what I've done too is, so just to let you know, Elijah, heal.art is a new products and services. It's mainly there /healers. It's mainly in the green box to help. It's mainly to market, to provide an interface between the people that have had awakening and unique gifts to the consensus reality masses people. That's what heal.art is about. And then right now as well, Art Transcend and Mystagogical have come together. It's basically an education program. And I have, last time I talked to you about the mysteries, the Art Transcend, 3 levels of education. One is the basic framework. The second is mommy daddy issues. The third are dealing with these indigenous wisdom traditions all around the world. Remember that?
Yeah.
And so now Mystagogical and Art Transcend and Fusukoi, in a sense, have come together. So Fusukoi is the indigenous people all around the world. That's the global decentralized modern mystery school. And then Mystagogical and Art Transcend are the first 2 stages. But then the first stage, and what we've been talking about, can lend itself to the consensus reality as well, too. So the first stage of the 5 stages, the conceptual framework, all of this stuff, that actually consensus reality people can at least understand it conceptually, right? The conceptual and outliers can understand this. That's the basic thing for everybody. And then for Mystagogical and Art Transcend, is having these healers and mystics help resolve their mommy daddy issues. And so the stuff that I'm dealing with Nova, why are you so fragmented? What is it you really want to do? Even, what I'm doing with you in terms of giving you some kind of structure and keeping you focused on objective measures is what I do with entrepreneurs, right? How do we move the ball forward?
So what would be the relationship in terms of?
Wait.
Oh.
And then the last piece for this is meaningful.org, which is kind of the end game stuff. And then that applies to everybody in this as well too. But that's really looking at it, not through the lens of personal development, but through the lens of where you're at in life and how deeply you've thought through life. That's the whole, what are you willing to die for? And the 4 quadrants talk that I gave. Is it about me? Material world is primary is about me. Material world is primary, it's about us. Inner world is primary, it's about me. Inner world is primary, it's about us. Right? And it's helping people understand that and then group them together so that they can work together. Do you remember that stuff, Elijah?
Yeah, I actually, this was the interface I built for it.
Oh, let me take a look at that. Hold on.
No, I hadn't finished it, but it was, yeah, looking at the.
Oh, great, wonderful. So hold on, Elijah. So Rita here can help. She's got wireframe. She's going to help with once we have like a design of a structure from an information flow and all this stuff that you say you're really good at, she can help with execution. And then she can help with graphics and all sorts of stuff as well too. So she's kind of a designer. Yeah, great, wonderful. Yeah.
And then you could be in front talking about da 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 da.
Yeah.
So in terms of the wireframes, or like, what website builder do you use?
Wix.
Yeah.
Wix?
Wix, yeah.
Have you ever used Weebly?
No. Sorry, what is that?
Weebly. It's pretty much the same as Wix. It's a website builder. I just found it better than Wix, but all my websites are done in Weebly. And it's what I.
I'll hook you guys up. Send her a link.
But I'm just
And
wondering.
then Rita, hey, I'm hiring Elijah as a contract work person.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So he's going to be part of this project as well.
Yeah.
How are you doing? Are you
Well,
okay? Rita, are you still in Hong Kong?
Yes. Yeah. I haven't go out these days.
But most people, like my wife and my daughter, are now in China.
Oh, yeah. China is safer than Hong Kong.
And so Elijah, just to let you know, Rita graduated from our master's program last year. She's actually taken my recovery and creativity class as well.
Yes. Well, recently I studied how to use Wix to build a data set, a database. So, but just learn how to build a database. So maybe I can change another website builder if this more good than Wix.
Well, I just think it's very simple. And I think at some point, Gino, you're going to want to be able to play with the websites, right? To add content and do it from your end. But I
Mhm.
found Weebly very simple, very easy to use, very, it depends. I mean, I can relearn Wix.
So I'll hook the two of you up. And so why don't you guys talk about it? And then Rita came up with some ideas of wireframes and everything. But she still doesn't really have mastery of the information, not the way that you have.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then also, Elijah, just for your diagram, if you don't mind. So
Yeah.
the idea is that the me, so the axis is me and then we, and then material world in inner. So I kind of walk through the 4 quadrants, but generally you want so the we part is on the right.
Oh, okay.
So it's
So
a
I
little
got
bit
backwards.
mixed up. Yeah.
I got
So it goes like 0, 0 is here. So it's me to we, and then material to
okay.
inner
Okay. Good to know.
or spiritual or what have you.
Okay.
So I'll create a group hooking the two of you up on WhatsApp.
Okay.
And then I'll also create another group, Elijah, with Doris, and then she'll process your paperwork.
Okay. So these are
Okay.
separate, right? Like your website's a separate contract than
Yeah. Well, no, well, right now, we
or just adding it on?
yeah, we have to figure this out. But for me and you, there are 2 things, 2.5 things. One is this contract thing and language and how we're going to bring in our 2 things and turn it into some training things with these backgrounds and stuff. That's one thing. And then the other thing, 1.5 is you helping out with this thing with Rita and everything of information. And then the other thing is this project we're doing together around building this community of 144 people and then gamifying it,
Okay.
right? That's what I've got with you so far.
Okay.
Now for us, kind of this 1.5, the information design, I think, it's helpful for the first thing and the third thing as well too. Because this website that we're building will be also instructional for all these people that we're onboarding. And it's a part of a process for them to understand where they're at and whatever they're trying to do, where it fits into the bigger slot of things.
Oh, yeah, I get it. Some pieces coming in. Pieces coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
What's that?
Does it make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I just have to.
So there's method to madness. Right now, Rita's like, what the hell? You, Elijah, there's method to madness. It seems like madness, but there's method to it.
Yeah, just got to get used to lots of backgrounds.
Yeah. So Rita, just to let you know, the cool thing about Elijah is whenever we're having a conversation, like here, Elijah, what kind of conversation are we doing right now?
Let me see. I would say you're sort of you're doing a bit of design specs. You're also doing some motivational, doing some feedback. I would say the main thing is like a design spec. see if I got that.
So Rita, the cool thing is when you're having a conversation with Elijah,
Mhm.
what he'll do during the conversation is, depending on the type of conversation you're having with him,
Oh,
what he'll do what he'll do is he'll bring in a background that tells you the context of the conversation.
okay. Yeah. Well,
So if you look right now, what is it saying? He's trying to find the right one.
Be like in Zoom, if they had a drop-down menu where you could choose all the right backgrounds.
Yeah.
That'd
Or
be-
ideally, you have an AI that's listening in on the conversation and generates it automatically.
I've been thinking about AI a lot.
Yeah. So again, Rita, what he's done is he has a whole system and studying how people communicate. And he's got these value lenses and like a framing. And so he'll just create, whenever you talk to him, he'll then pull in the right background that reflects the type of
see.
conversation that you're having,
There we
which
go.
I think is really cool, which can potentially turn into a product.
Oh, cool.
But part of the issue that he has a little bit, because he's got cards with this as well, is that visually it should come out better in terms of legibility or symbolic design and everything. That's where
Yeah.
she could potentially help out as well too.
Well,
Mhm.
I think I wanted to tell you that the reason these things can't be read is I'm just uploading my full PNGs from the cards, and the resolution in Zoom is a lot lower than other video things. And so I'm just, the two main words are quality and building. I'm not trying to have, like, it's too small for people to kind of look at anyway, just so you know. But I think you could have a background to have a different layout that would actually have the words, or you press a button and you can see what it meant, kind of thing.
Yeah, I see.
So do we have deadlines, or do we have sort of a time limit at all, or is it just sort of as it gets done?
Right now, Rita's at the stage where she's looking for direction, at least to get the site stuff together. And then for me, I'm thinking about it too, because I'm redoing my website. My new website, the Gino website, will have a counter counting down the number of days before I retire.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm going to basically have part of it is going to direct to my academic work. And then part of it is going to direct to my future work and my life's work. And the stuff that Rita is building right now with you and everything is the future work, life work. And then I'm also going to have like all my publications, the talks that I've given in the past, and
Right.
all of my contributions to society thus far. And so there's like a before retirement and after retirement.
Right.
And I'm gonna put this whole thing together.
When do
But
you
we'll also-
retire?
May 29th, 2024.
Okay.
That's the day I turned 60.
Ooh.
Wait a second, 58. We're about the same age.
Yeah.
We're almost the same age. You're me, I'm
What's your birthday?
November 25th,
64?
63.
Oh, you're older than me then.
Oh, I know.
So you're 58 now.
Yeah.
I'm 58 in May.
Okay.
So you're like 10 months older than me or
Uh-huh.
so. Something like that.
Older.
May, so maybe 7 months.
We might have been in the same high school year if we were in much different worlds. Okay, well, let's, we got some next steps.
This will be on the website. So I'll hook you up. I'll introduce you guys via WhatsApp. You guys can like get to know each other better and everything.
Oh.
And then we'll start with this. And then she would like to, she's also looking at, so currently her contract ends in June or so, but she would like to do some NFT type projects and everything as well. And then I'm also thinking, you know, how can we sustain her, find a sustainable way to get her next gig, you know, after this project is up. And so Tesla's already writing a couple other grants and everything, but she's still figuring out kind of postgraduate from our master's program, you know, what she really wants to do.
Okay, and on the very secret plan, I'll add this to the Ginovision. I'm gonna go through all my stuff and get all our vids we've done together, pop them in there, and that's the beginning of Ginovision.
All right, man.
I'll track from now on. Very nice to meet you, Rita.
All right.
I look forward to seeing you, and great.
I'll set up a WhatsApp.
Bye. See you.
All right, take care.
Okay.